Okay, last round. And in this last video, I want to finally talk about one of my most anticipated horror movies of this entire year. And it's a very, very small movie, but it's also an A24 horror movie, which A24 has been gaining traction in these last few years. But the movie I want to talk about is Talk to Me. And this movie is about a group of teenagers in Australia who, this movie is about a group of teenagers in Australia who just act stupid, and they find this ceramic hand that has like a lot of graffiti on it, and they found out that it has like powers to talk to dead people. So the premise is very simple and very terrifying at the same time. So when this movie starts, it starts at a party, and you don't know what is happening at first, but some dude just like finds his best friend or brother or something, and he goes into his bedroom and he's kind of like cut up, and the dude that finds him doesn't know that he's possessed. He murders him with a knife, and the dude that was possessed just stabs himself. That's how this thing begins. So let's get into this movie. So this is essentially about like a group of teenagers who deal with death and grief, and they just have this hand in front of them, and they light a candle, and whoever holds the hand just simply says, "Talk to me." And then the person who holds the hand sees a deceased person, and all they have to say is, "I'll let you in," and then they get possessed. Now, this movie could have worked as like a YouTube video, which I gotta say that this movie was directed by a YouTube channel, and I think that they're twins, and they're the Philippou brothers. I'll have to look that up when I edit, but I've never heard of this channel, but I guess they just focus on like horror, and this is just their original vision. And this movie is very well made. It's very tense, and it keeps you on the edge of your seat. But a big negative for me as a regular watcher of horror, this movie wasn't really all that scary. It's just uncomfortable. It's kind of like the same vein as like Hereditary. Now that movie is very freaky, but it doesn't like rely on jump scares. It's just unnerving and just uncomfortable to watch. I felt the same way about this movie, but it is nowhere near as well done as Hereditary. I will say that. But our main protagonist, Sophia Wilde, I want to say her name was, she is a conduit for the spirits, and she basically sets off this whole game, and throughout this movie she is visited by her mom, which allegedly like overdosed or something, and she tries to like find out what actually happened to her mom, but that doesn't really get explained. Well, it does, but it doesn't come into fruition. But there's also like another side character. He is like the younger brother of the protagonist's best friend. Yeah, there we go. He wants to get possessed, but he goes to extreme lengths and like bangs his head on like a table countless times, and he goes into a coma, and he's essentially bedridden during this back half of the movie. And this movie also has a descent into madness trope where you don't know what's real or what's fake. But once this thing wraps up, it's very divisive on how this movie wraps up. But I won't give it away, but I understood the ending right away. It's very easy to analyze. But what makes this movie a standout for me is that it is entirely original, and it is very different from this oversaturation of demonic possession movies. I mean, it ain't no Exorcist or any of those movies. This is just a straight possession movie that has like a gaming element to it in a way. Very easy to watch, but it's also very unnerving to watch. And what I mean by easy is that this movie is only an hour and a half, so it's not no grand 2.5 hour epic. Thank God for that. But this movie is definitely one of the best horror movies of the year, in my opinion. And that's saying a lot because horror has been absent most of this year. The only two horror movies that I can say that I really loved were Evil Dead Rise and Scream 6. That's about it. And this is definitely in the conversation of best of the year as well. But I will definitely have to do a rewatch on this as soon as it comes out to determine that. But I definitely ended this weekend with a bang and a scare. And Talk to Me overall gets an A for me because this movie is very well done. It's got a very simple story, but it just doesn't rely on scaring you to death. There was like kind of like a critic blurb that said guides you by the hand straight into hell. And that's a pretty accurate representation of it, because you do have like elements of like purgatory in this movie, and it's very unnerving stuff. And it makes you think, do you really want to mess with dead people? No. But I highly recommend this movie, and it's definitely going to be in a rotation for me here and there. So that's all I got for Talk to Me. Hope you guys enjoyed. And tomorrow, I'm bringing you the big one. The movies I watched in July. That's going to be a long one. And at the very beginning of that video, I'll talk about some stuff that I'm planning to film for the channel in these next couple months. So very exciting stuff. One more video to film this month and get out to you as soon as I can. But hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you guys tomorrow for my final video in July. Adios. Peace.